Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, where we've got our answer. Does Dan feel good about the June call? We are watching the 3850 level. On top of that, one of the things we should also look about is, hey, if you want to stick with your end of year call, like Tom, I don't know who's that. Tom
Bowley.
No, not Tom Bowley. The stock analyst who's always bullish.
Oh, Jim Cramer.
Yeah, there's another guy, Tom something. But anyways, people know who it is. He's an Asian guy, as I recall. He's always bullish. Tech's going to lead the way. Thought we would look at industries. What industries have to lead us higher?
Kathy Wood, too.
Kathy Wood.
Another position in NVIDIA.
I saw that. She doubled down. Kathy Wood going deep on NVIDIA. So, Dan, why don't you show us what industries have to take us higher?
So out of curiosity, after the last session that we just did, what was your takeaway? What do you think my thoughts are on the bottom call?
Well, I think that's really, really interesting. Again, I think the bottom call is, I see no reason not to say it. We don't hold it. I think a double bottom makes sense. I think, and also, again, we got the adults coming back that we kind of touched on as well. I think they're going to lead us farther. Again, there's a guy who's sitting in cash who isn't going to get in unless it got much worse. I may not have a chance to get in, so that's okay. If I stay in cash, it's okay.
Yeah, you might not, but you might have an indication that it's starting to go higher, which is what we talked about on the last one. If we make that inverted head and shoulders,
yeah, exactly.
We go down to 30, 39, 38, 50, 39, and then bounce and start going back up, and continue back up, then it's very likely that we'll make that new high. But September and even early October is going to be a very volatile, probably a bad month.
And I have no problem staying in cash. I've been in cash most of the year, so I have no problem staying there.
Yeah, we've got the inflation report on the 13th. We've got the Fed meeting on the 21st.
Yeah, I think the inflation meeting is, I think a lot of people are going to focus on headline, but I'm only looking at core. That's all I'm looking at, core.
Core will probably go up a little. Headline may come down.
I think that's exactly what happens. And if core goes up, we get banged with 75.
Maybe.
That's my call.
We'll see. What if they both go down? What if they both
go down? If they both go down, oh my God, both go down. The jobs number, Powell could wimp out. If both go down, and let's say they go down, not only one
zero,
point,
so zero hikes.
No. We get a half, no matter what.
I think it's between a half and 75.
Agreed. Okay.
All right. So what I thought we'd talk about on this one is we'll just look at some of the sectors that need to lead us higher.
Please.
And what they're looking like from a chart perspective. And actually, they don't look that great.
You're not feeling good, huh?
But they're the ones that will need to lead us higher if we're going to go higher. They're in the technology, the aggressive sectors need to go up. So let me share my screen. Well, the first one I'm going to show is the semiconductor space.
So this would be where NVIDIA plays.
This is NVIDIA, AMD,
Intel,
Micron, a bunch of them, Broadcom. They all got hit. They got hit after Powell's speech.
Yes,
they got hit pretty well. This, by the way, this is the semiconductors versus the S&P. So it's a relative strength chart. I love looking at relative strength. What's the strength of one thing versus another thing?
Okay.
So how are semiconductors doing versus the S&P? The pink line here, that's the boldest one, is the 8-day moving average. So it gives you a pretty quick view of what the trend looks like. And then the blue one, dark blue one, is a 21-day, and then the red one is a 50-day, and the dotted gray one in the back is the 200-day.
Got it.
By the way, anybody that's working with stock charts or any charting program, I highly recommend that you use the same colors for all of your moving averages. So I like to use pink for the 8, blue for the 21, red for the 50, and dotted gray for the 200.
Okay.
That way, no matter what chart I'm looking at, I know what those lines mean.
It becomes second nature.
Right?
Yep.
Even if I look at a longer term weekly chart or a shorter term 5-minute chart, I still know what they mean.
Yes.
Right? Because the colors kind of tell me.
Good advice.
But in this one right here, that we had a really nice rally off the June low.
Yep.
There's the June low right down here. Really nice. By the way, the black line is the S&P.
Okay.
And the pink line is the semiconductors versus the S&P.
Got it.
Are they outperforming or underperforming? So if it's going up, then semiconductors are outperforming the S&P.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see these two lines side by side here, where semis right off the bottom were outperforming pretty well, and they started to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Then they crossed over right here
Mm-hmm.
around August 10th.
Yeah.
So that was the first sign. This was before Powell's speech.
Yeah, it was the first sign of potential
Right.
problems.
First sign of trouble.
Yep.
All right. And that was before the S&P went up and hit the 200-day moving average, started coming down. So that was a sign of trouble right there.
Okay.
Semiconductors are struggling,
Yeah.
and they're no longer leading us out.
Yep.
This is the technology sector down here.
Yep.
You can see the technology sector in general continued higher even after this cross up here.
Mm-hmm.
But then right here around the 22nd, it crossed over.
Yeah.
It's 50-day moving average, 21-day moving average, and it started moving down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not looking healthy. Accumulation distribution still actually pretty much up there, which is interesting. So it tells me that big institutions aren't necessarily selling all of their tech. They're hanging in there on it because it actually made a 52-week high up here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when the adults show up on Tuesday.
We'll see what happens on Tuesday. Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then these are the momentum indicators. So they're continuing to go down. They're not showing that they're ready to move up yet. But what I see from this, by the way, this gray one up here shows you the weekly. It's a 65-day MACD, but 65 days equals a week.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, a week. That's a weekly. Think of that as a weekly chart.
Okay.
So on the weekly chart, it made it above the zero line, and then it went below the zero line right about when this crossed. And it looks like it's starting to move up a little bit right there.
Yeah.
And the relative strength indicator 30 is where you can see right here when it went below 30. That's when this rally occurred. Yep. That's actually where the bottom was. Right. So we're almost there. So this is why I said in the last one, I think when the adults come back on Tuesday, they're going to continue the selling.
Right. And then buy
in the morning.
Right.
And I want to see what they do in the afternoon.
So they come out, they sell the morning, all the retail follows in, then they come back, buy later cheaper.
Right. Exactly. They're trying to get in at a cheaper price.
Okay.
So they see all the selling that happened last week. They saw the selling that happened at the end of the day Friday. They're going to say, hey, we're going to make sure people keep selling because we want to buy lower.
Shame on you, Wall Street. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The afternoon on Tuesday will be the important thing to watch, not the morning.
All right. I like it.
Now, so semis don't look too good. These are the stocks over the last month that have performed really well in the semi space.
Okay.
This is one way to find potential candidates for trading. I'm not going to go into each of these, but just to show you what some of the semis that performed over the last month look like.
Can I see the yeah, let's see the worst.
There's the worst performing. So Phototronics, which have been doing really well.
Oh, there's
Umbrella, there's NVIDIA, the bottom 10. Oof. Right. So AMD. All of these Pixelworks, AMD is down here, bottom 20. Ooh. Marvell Technologies, which actually had a good earnings report.
Still got whacked.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of the software companies got whacked on good earnings reports too. Yeah. Last week got whacked big time. We might actually look at some of those. All right. So let's look at software. So here's the relative strength chart for software. Again, it's rolling over. Here's the bottom. June 16th. It took software a little bit of time to start rallying. It didn't rally right away.
No. Okay.
But then it did. It came back up. It didn't quite get to the 200-day and then started back down again. So software has still been weak. Software needs to lead us higher along with semis. But software's been weak as well. So here's technology, same as the other one, accumulation distribution. Yeah. It's definitely below its moving average line. And the momentum indicators are still going down, although a little bit of an uptrend right there, but it really hasn't convincingly turned. And this one's near the 30, near the buy point as well, but it's not there yet. So again, we will have more selling. So these are the software names over the last 30 days, the last month. Yeah. We'll look at the worst ones.
Wow, 60%. Wow, WAG.
Yeah, 94% on this one.
Oi, I have no idea. Oh, it's an ADR.
Close at a.
That's got it. Chinese
Close
stock.
change 1,500% change
Yeesh.
on that one. Look at that chart.
Yeah, that's a not good.
Up and all the way back down.
Not good.
Went up to like $1,600, $1,700 and came back down to 200, 100.
I hope people sold. Yeah.
No kidding. All right, so software
Okta,
needs to lead.
Yeah.
Okta had a great report and sold off big time.
Big time.
In fact, let's look at this chart. This is similar to some of the other ones. Look at that.
Yeah.
Way down here.
Bang. Look at that volume. Woo.
MongoDB.
Yeah, same day. I watched both of those. Yeah.
What is MongoDB?
I think it's MDB. Yeah.
There's MongoDB. They had a good earnings report.
Look at that volume, man.
Huge volume. Sold off big time. So for whatever reason, nobody wants to be in software. Let's look at our favorite, Splunk. Now Splunk had their earnings last month. So they've just been selling off after earnings.
Yep.
So a lot of them, interestingly, PayPal is hanging in there.
It is. I saw that. Yeah.
PayPal's still doing well.
Yeah.
Not doing well, but it's not going down as much.
Yeah.
Microsoft, it's below all of its moving average lines.
How about Tesla? Just I know it's not software, but I'm just.
By the way, again, to reiterate the importance of the 200-day moving average.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. Hit 200-day and went right back down.
Dang.
Tesla. Now Tesla split.
It did, yeah.
So you would think that after the split, it would start going up, but Tesla's gone down, but it's hanging in there. It's right at this 50-day moving average, which is where institutions usually step
in. Hitting the 200-day keeps coming back.
Yep, hit the 200-day and came back down. So that's interesting. So let's look at renewable energy. Renewable energy has been one of the strongest sectors recently because of the Biden's bill.
Yep. Well, that in Europe, yeah.
Europe, and also helping solar companies and trying to get people to solar.
Yep.
So you can see here, this is a very different looking chart, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
This is relative strength. It's significantly outperforming. It gapped up through its 200-day and just continued to keep going.
Yeah. This
is in July. This is the weekly up here. It's well above it on the weekly chart. So renewable energy has been the strongest industry group in the market. And it's not showing any signs of slowing down.
Wow.
It's still going up here.
We will see what happens when the adults show up next week. It'll be very interesting to see this chart in 7 days.
This black line here, again, is the S&P.
Yeah.
So even as the S&P rolled over, started going down, renewable didn't care.
Yeah, that just feels. We'll see what happens next week.
Just kept going up. So here's some renewable names: Sunworks, First Solar, Canadian Solar, Array. These Plug Power. These are all the ones. Fuel Cell.
Yeah.
EVgo, which is a charger company.
Cool.
Those are all the ones that are doing really well. You can actually look at. Let's look at Plug, just out of curiosity. So Plug has started to actually reverse and come back down again. But if you want to get into a solar play and you like Plug, you might be getting close to a point where you might buy it, maybe at the 200-day
24
down here. So wait for it to bounce. Don't buy it. Don't anticipate.
Yeah, don't anticipate. Yep.
So wait till it actually gets there. If you want to look at the worst performers, Solar Edge, which you would think would be one of the better performers, but it's been coming down ever since August, beginning of August. Been getting hit pretty well.
Okay.
There's Ballard Power Systems, another charging company.
Okay.
JKS, Jinko Solar, another solar company. It's a Chinese solar company.
Got it.
So it's coming down too. So not everyone in Enphase, this has been the best performer of the whole market, not just the renewable space, but the whole market. It's been the best performer. Again, on that idea of the 200-day moving average. If end phase is one that you watch and you trade, get in and out of, if it goes over the 200-day, you could buy it. When it starts coming back down, you could sell it. Right here, it went over the 200-day, went over it right there. It came back a little bit, went over.
So the 200-day is roughly 200 on this?
It's a little below. It's actually 196.
Okay, 196.
Right now. It's at 196.
All right.
And then the last one is biotech, because biotech, I think, has been waning for a while, and I think it wants to go higher.
Okay.
So the first two I showed you were definitely on the downslope.
Oh, yeah.
No question, they were headed down.
Yep.
Semiconductors and software.
Yep.
The third one, renewable energy, there's no question it was going up.
Yep.
And it had been going up for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is one that is just beginning to go up.
Interesting.
All right. So biotech versus the S&P. You can see here it's just starting to recover.
Yeah, the 8-day. Yeah.
Right. This is the
yeah,
healthcare sector, which has actually been underperforming. And accumulation distribution on biotech is hanging in there.
Yeah.
And the momentum indicators are just starting to cross. So this might be one to look for some things, look for some stocks to see how they're going to do. Yeah. So these are stocks over the last month that have outperformed in the biotech space. Look at that alt. You can see that little chart right there.
Yep.
From $5 to $22 since the bottom in June.
Nice 400%. That felt good.
Miro, this one's just starting to go up.
Nice.
So this biotech is one to watch. It's a volatile segment.
Sure.
So I still recommend keeping tight stops. You can easily get stopped out. It's important to do some research on biotech companies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And see when their FDA approvals are coming up. Because that's going to have a huge impact on where they go. If they pass the FDA, it's going to take off. It's going to gap up and continue higher. If they fail the FDA trials, it's going to gap down and continue lower. But you don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
The worst performers in biotech, here's NVAX. NVAX is $30. Let's look at this one. This is one that a friend of mine is in, not one of your listeners, but another friend. He's been in this for a while. Been in it ever since I don't know, 2 years since COVID started. And he said, "Yeah, I'm buying NVAX. You know, when they get their approvals, it's going to take off. It's going to go to the moon." Let's actually look at a 5-year chart. So here's COVID right back here.
Yep.
And it did.
Yeah, he had a chance to get out at 300.
Yeah, this company usually traded right around here, somewhere between $25 and $10. And then with COVID, it took off. And I looked at it, I did some research, and I said, you know, they're not going to have their vaccine for COVID until sometime in 2021 or 2022. And my friend said, I'm not getting any other vaccines until Novavax comes out.
Okay.
That's going to be the best one. I'm going to wait for that. I said, well, you know, by the time it comes out, you might be the only patient they have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone else has already taken the other vaccines.
Yeah, good point.
And that's sort of what happened. Now I'm pretty sure he traded in and out of this, so he's probably a little underwater over here, but I'm hoping he got out. But this one, the CEO, before their last earnings, you know, about a week before, came out and said, we're doing great. We're going to meet our numbers. We're going to hit all the numbers. And then they came out with earnings and they missed by 60%.
Yeah.
That was right here. You see this big jump up here to 75?
Yeah.
This is where they were saying, we're going to hit our numbers. We're doing great.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they missed by 60%.
Yeah.
So now they're being investigated. The CEO is being investigated. All kinds of things happening.
I would hope so. Yeah.
So you never know about biotech. I'm a little leery of biotech stocks, and I typically don't like to stay in them very long.
Yeah. Not for me. These are trader stocks. That's not where I play.
These are trader. Yeah. These are trader stocks.
I don't play here. Yeah.
And you have to really be aware of when their FDA approvals are coming up.
Absolutely. Very cool.
So anyway, that's pretty much all I've got, unless you want to look at any other.
No, do me a favor, show your newsletter one more time. Let's plug it as we wrap up this great session today. So again, folks, if you're listening to on the podcast, which if you're listening to this on a podcast, it's got to be hard, but breakpointtrading@gmail.com. Get the newsletter. I consume it every week. You'll get last week, you'll get next week. And Dan, thank you.
But if you are listening on the podcast, you can always go back to the YouTube channel and watch.
There you go. There you go. Dan's got his own playlist. And the beauty about having Dan on every week is you can go back week after week after week and look at a lot of these charts and see how they have evolved over time. We don't delete anything. So go back.
We can see all the times I'm wrong.
There you go. I'm wrong all the time, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care.